What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 13 of the Cucco Attack. Today we have a few cool things to talk about. We've got some news from the Nintendo sales that were released at the end of April. We have the Super Mario Maker 2 update to talk about that happened right after our last recording.
Shadow trapped.
Yeah, like the week we recorded last time.
At like 10 or 11 o'clock at night on the Eastern Coast. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was like 10:30ish, something like that.
Yeah.
We've got some news from the Summer of Gaming that dropped this week, and we've got some more rumors. So we will jump into that. Yeah, rumors are great. So we will get into that, but first, I'm Chad Hembrock. It's Patrick Hughes.
Right here.
And we're going to talk about what we've been playing lately, because that's pretty much all we've been doing through this quarantine time is playing video games together
discovering a lot of fun kind of multiplayer games, for sure.
Yeah, so we can start it off with we were playing some of the Jackbox games. Epic Games gave out a free copy of Drawful 2 a couple weeks ago, and I grabbed that, and we've gotten a bunch of friends to join in and play that. You can support up to 8 people. We've had up to 6, I think, at once.
Yeah,
6 or 7. But it's a lot of fun. If you haven't played it before, it's like a Pictionary game where you have to kind of guess the title, and then the real title's thrown in with the guesses, and then everyone has to try to pick the right answer out of those categories you have. But it's
a lot of the fun comes from how bad the pictures are and the absurdity of people's like guesses of what it is.
Yeah, so like a lot of things, for instance, you only have 2 colors to draw with, so there's a lot of things where like I had something I had to draw once that was supposed to be, I was trying to depict it being hot, and yet I had the color blue, so I drew a thermometer, and then everybody was pretty much guessing it was something to do with cold, because if you don't think about that, the colors just play with people's minds. So
and you can't erase in the game, so you're like, if you make a mistake, you just start drawing over it like, whoa.
Yeah, like I had a scale, like I drew it was supposed to be like a bedtime drink, and I drew a guy in a bed, but then I drew the glass way too big, so everyone thought he was on a ventilator dying when he was really just drinking a glass with a straw while laying in bed. So everyone was like, this is COVID. That's exactly what this is. But the game's a lot of fun. I mean, especially if you like, if you like Pictionary, or if you like Cards Against Humanity, Apples to Apples.
Like good party games. A lot of Jackbox games. And
yes. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Drawful is one of the better ones, for sure.
Yeah, so the way it works is, we're all remote right now, so in order to play these games, we're actually using Discord to stream the main game, which kind of shows everyone's picture and then the breakdown of everything. But then every user connects to the Jackbox.tv server, and they type in a game code that you're assigned, and then you play it through your phone. So you're drawing on your phone, or you can do it through a web browser.
Yeah, if you got a little tablet, or I guess you can even just use your mouse. So
yeah, so if you like drawing that way, it makes it easier. Patrick has a drawing pad like he just showed, so it works for him really well. But it gives everyone a controller, and everyone can see the screen that I'm sharing out to them, and we're all on camera, and it's probably the closest we're going to get to hanging out with people.
Yep. A nice part about this game is only one person needs to own a copy, and then everyone can just go onto the website to join. So
yeah. So it's
very accessible kind of game.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Like I said, if you like playing those games, then that's definitely something to check out. If you like Pictionary, Cards Against Humanity, stuff like that. And with Cards Against Humanity being mentioned, there's a bunch of free online versions of Cards Against Humanity right now. So we've been playing that as well. Kind of got burned out on it the first weekend we figured it out. One of my mom's friends mentioned it and was like, "Oh yeah, we should all play." I was like, "Yeah, cool." And then we found this one. It was called All Bad Cards, and it's just a web-based Cards Against Humanity. It's got pretty much all the sets, and you can have up to, I think, like 50 people join or something like that. It had like a limit of players, either 50 or it may have been 25. It's some multiple of 25. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. Again, we use Discord so we can all chat and read out the cards and, you know, enjoy each other's laughs and stupidity. And that game's so amazingly offensive and hilarious. But yeah, that's another thing. Like if you didn't know about that, check it out. There's a lot of sites that also support, like, you know, other card games as well, like, you know, your typical you know, blackjack, poker, stuff like that. Kind of the same way. But that's been a lot of fun as well. Then one game one of our work buddies told us about was, they mentioned this game called Prop and Seek. And I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but it's like it's like hide and go seek, but there's a hunter who looks for the item, and then the other players are items that are within that environment map. So
they're either like barrels or girders, or sometimes they're like trees or water towers.
You can be like you can be a bag of trash, you can be a brick, you can be
you can be just like a little soda can, or just
you can be a car.
Yeah.
Like
a whole train cart.
Yeah, so there's just a lot of stuff that's really cool. So this was a game that's kind of based off of, or at least it has to be inspired by, there was a prop and go seek sort of thing from Gary's Mod. And I know there's, you know, our coworker, he watches YouTube videos that, you know, these guys are playing that while talking. And when he told me about that, it's immediately what I thought of. And, you know, he told me that's where it came from. But it's a lot of fun. It's in alpha right now, so there are some bugs. For instance, like Patrick mentioned, you can be a tree. But you can like be a tree in a warehouse where there are no trees. So it's kind of like,
it's amazing.
They should probably not put that type of stuff in there, but and there's like some issues with like scaling, so like you'll be like a briefcase, but the briefcase is as big as a train. And it's like, you know, so there's definitely, you know, it's an alpha, they're working on it. There's been some issues on and off with like the usernames popping up.
My main gripe is the hitbox of the props is so difficult to hit sometimes. It's just like they can just run away and you can waste the entire match trying to hit them, but they are so hard to shoot, it's like impossible.
Yeah, if you're a prop, you have a pretty good chance of like jumping over the person. If you just keep bunny hopping everywhere, they pretty much can't hit you, which makes the game very interesting. So, but yeah, no, they definitely should fix that, because, you know, that for sure is an issue.
Definitely needs more like map variety, even though what they have is pretty fun.
Yeah, they have about, is it 4 maps, I think? They have Warehouse.
Just 4 maps.
Warehouse 1, Warehouse 2, Venice, and Steampunk, I think is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, for the most part, I think we've had the most fun probably playing Warehouse, just because it's small. It's small enough to be fun, but it's still big enough where you can, you know, not blend in.
For the number of players that we've had.
Yeah, because we've played with, like, I think the max we had was 5 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a lot of fun. Definitely potential there, and the game's free right now. And it's
as a free alpha, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's silly and stupid, but
What was your first reaction of it, Patrick, when we went to go play it? When I told you about it?
When I first like looked at the game, like a video of it, I was like, this looks ridiculous. I don't know if I want to play this. This just looks pretty dumb. And then we loaded it up, and I was just laughing my head off.
Yeah,
Just-
we ended up playing it. We're like, oh, we'll just play it for a few minutes until we get enough people to play Left 4 Dead or something, and then
and like 90 minutes later, we're
yeah, like the rest of the night, that's all we played, and then now like every single time we hop online, we're all playing
let's
Prophecy.
play for 5 or 10 minutes. Half an hour later.
Yeah, so it's definitely a lot of fun. So check that out if you haven't. It's cool. Again, we do Discord so we can all chat and just have fun with that. But the other big thing that Patrick and I have been playing is we've been playing a lot of Portal 2. I think we talked about that a little bit last time, maybe. I know we talked about Left 4 Dead, but Portal 2 has been awesome. There's a community map thing, which I never really played a lot of the co-op in the past myself, other than just the standard levels.
Yeah, the ones that they came with. So
yeah, so we finished those, and then or we both already had those finished, and then we jumped into the community maps, and we found some really good community maps. There's one series. I'm gonna try to pull up the maker ID real quick of the guy who made it, but it's called The Order of Things, and this guy made like 14 levels that were all very fun. Let's see. Here's the workshop. So yeah, it was very fun. It was like multiple rooms inside the levels with multiple puzzles inside each room, and just very well done. There were some that we were able to cheese a little bit here and there.
I think that's half the fun of Portal, is trying to find unintended solutions.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun figuring those out, and those are to the point where we were playing and we were like, it's 1:00 in the morning, but let's check out the next one real quick, and then we check it out, and it's like, all right, let's just beat it real quick, let's figure it out. And just the Portal's so good at just like the satisfaction you get when you solve a puzzle in that game, especially some of these puzzles where you've got like you got to work together to work around your shields, and you've got the barriers you can't go through, and then you've got to light lasers through the wall, and it was just a lot of fun playing that.
It's like just such a satisfying like Rubik's Cube kind of effect, where you're just slowly unwinding the room and figuring out how all the pieces work, and then you get it all pieced together.
Yeah,
the order of things.
Yeah, so you definitely have to do it in the order of things, as they say. I can't find the guy's name. It's something like Inova something or Enova. I don't know. I can't find his name at the moment because I don't know how to navigate the workshop when I'm not in Portal. So, but yeah, his levels were awesome. There was like one level we kind of got stuck on for a while, and it had like a 3-star review, and reading some of the comments were like, this level's not fair, blah, blah, blah. I can't figure this out. I'm stuck here. But, Patrick and I got to a couple places where we're like, we're screwed. We can't do this. And, we figured out a way to do it. And for the most part, when we really got stuck, we were able to figure out the way to cheese it. But then after we cheese it, we'd look and be like, oh, that's what you were supposed to do. Okay. Like we'd see the actual, combination of blocks or switches that we were supposed to hit to make things happen.
I found the creator's name.
Oh, did you?
It's Invocare Ignis.
Invocare, yeah, that was him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I Nova because of the hospital in Virginia. But anyway, yeah, that guy, check out his levels for sure. If you haven't played anything that he's made, those were very fun levels to play. And then we played another one. I don't know if you have.
There's no I in Team.
Yeah, so this guy did another map called There's No I in Team, which I found in a Google search because after we finished all 14 Order of Things, I just started Googling for like the best co-op maps on Portal and came across this guy's There's No I in Team, and he had I think it was 6 of them. Is that what it was? I think it was like 6 levels.
Yeah, I think this is. Let me see. I think it's LP Chip.
Yeah, LP Chip. That was it.
Yeah.
So he had some really fun levels too. Like for instance, there's a level where somebody has to reverse a tractor beam to dance a block as the other person drops down the force fields, and then you have to dance that block so it doesn't hit the force field. Just, stuff like that. Us figuring that out. I mean, hopefully, it didn't just spoil that for you. But maybe I did. But it was just so cool. I had to talk about it. It was a fun little thing. Once we figured it out, we were running around the room. And
because we were like... figured out every aspect of that room other than this one section. We're like, how do we get past this?
We even had I had it set up where I put a laser block in the middle of the room to align it where I could just shoot portals to open up the gates. And I was like, all right, you just got to run and hit that, and then we just shoot these gates real quick. And that would have worked if we had an extra 2 seconds maybe, because everything's on a timer. But yeah, that game's just so much fun, and these community maps are great, and I definitely look forward to finding a few more to jump into, preferably a series, because I gotta find some of the makers that have high ratings and multiple maps, because that's been a lot of fun for sure.
For sure, yeah. So those are the games we've been playing together. But any other games you've been playing? I know we tried Counter-Strike, and I did not enjoy it at all. But you've been playing more of it on your own.
Yeah, so I've played Counter-Strike since I was in high school, back with CS. I think it was 1.4 or 1.5, and then eventually upgraded 1.6, and then of course Source, which we've talked about in the past, and then CSGO came out, and I've never really been a fan of it, but then we were all looking for another free game to play. So Patrick and my coworker and a couple coworkers, we all joined in and played a game of CSGO. Arms Race, which I love. I love gun game in Source mod. That's just so much fun to me because it's just random, it's quick, deathmatch style. You shoot to get through a list of predetermined guns, and then when you get to the end of that list, you go reverse in that list, and then whoever gets the nade kill ends up on a knife, and then if you get the knife kill, you win the round. So it's the first one to get that knife kill wins the game, and I love it. It takes you can play a match in 15 minutes typically, and it's just chaos nonsense. But Patrick wasn't too happy with it.
It's all right.
My other coworker.
I'm definitely not good at it anymore.
Yeah. I play a lot of Source, so playing CSGO was different because I didn't know any of the maps. It feels a little bit different. It's not horrible though. It actually wasn't so bad playing with you guys. It was kind of nice to play with friends because the only time I've tried in the past was with randoms, and that always ended up just being, getting yelled at online because that's Counter-Strike. But so that's what we ended up doing, and I really enjoyed it. So the last couple nights I've actually been jumping into a couple online games and just kind of getting a feel for it again. And I'm trying to play more. I actually just recently talked to one of my friends. I was trying to get him to play again, but he said he won't. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I suck at Counter-Strike. And so, I mean, I used to play a long time ago. We played in some amateur league, and then we played in one season of Cal Cyber Athletic League, and that was just the amateur level there too. And I think we won one match, maybe out of 10. And it's funny because we thought we were decent, and we'd scrimmage against other teams, and we'd beat them, and they'd accuse us of cheating and stuff like that. So we were like, all right, we're good enough. And now we get just completely wiped, and we'd all be yelling at each other. Everyone would be angry at everybody about it. Some people just take things way too seriously. But not to say I've definitely smashed a mouse or two in my time playing Counter-Strike. Okay. But yeah, it's fun. But I don't know how much more I'll definitely play it. I love gun game. I need to maybe get back into playing actual bomb or counter-terrorist rescue, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I haven't played the actual game of Counter-Strike in a very long time. So if you're down for playing that instead of gun game, we can get something going. We can play co-op on the same team and try to
Maybe
get into that.
I'll probably be awful, but I do like the real modes in the sense of that it does have more kind of penalty to, like, you have to take it seriously or you have to wait throughout the round, so it kind of changes your mindset how you play.
Yeah,
you can't
for
just,
sure.
like, run around and be like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the way, that's why I love gun game, because it's just chaos. You just run out and there's definitely times where if I get stuck on a gun that I don't like, I'm just gonna run around the corner, I'm gonna hold down the button, eventually I'll kill somebody. So eventually somebody will die and I'll get to the next gun. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. I've been doing a lot of arcade games as well. Just kind of tightening up my Ninja Turtles cabinet and my Pac-Man cabinet. Played a lot of pinball with with everything going on. I can play a couple games of pinball during my lunch break and stuff like that. So,
Nice.
But I'm definitely looking forward to getting into some sort of story-driven game here shortly, because I need to get into something. And talked about streaming with Patrick. He's mentioned he wants me to play Banjo-Kazooie, which
that's not really a story game. If you're looking for a story game, I can give you other recommendations.
It doesn't have to be story. I just need to get into something that has like a completion instead of just like random arcade games and Counter-Strike. So it'd be nice to actually
give Okami a try. That's a good one.
Yeah, I know you've been wanting me to play that too, and I haven't.
Zelda story, such a fun game.
It's funny because I've been like kind of jonesing to play Breath of the Wild again, but
there you go.
But I'm like,
got similar vibes.
Yeah, but if they somehow end up dropping Breath of the Wild at the end of the year, and I just play through Breath of the Wild 1, I'm gonna be like, ugh.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Plus, it's hard for me. It'd probably be better to play something like Okami, since I haven't played it before, instead of jumping into another Zelda game that I've already beaten and have explored the entire world, other than Korok Seeds. So but what have you been up to? What have you been playing?
Well, I did a couple of streams on our channel recently. One was a bunch of variety of music games. If you haven't checked that out, it was Groovy Games, that was titled, where we played Sayonara, Wild Hearts, Bit.Trip, Flux, and Ho Ho Kum. Really kind of fun, chill games. And then also recently Animal Crossing, where I was very happy to finally have achieved a 5-star island rating. So my island is now paradise, yes. That's where all the animals want to move now.
Nice. I forgot that me and you were chatting a couple nights ago, and I pulled the I got my Wii set up and played the Bit.Trip games, and I also was showing you Amplitude on the PS2.
That's right.
Yeah,
you did show me that. That was cool.
I actually I totally forgot. It's sitting right here too. Boom, Amplitude PS2. But yeah, that was a lot of fun too. Just I love playing that game, and it was hard to play because playing it with a delay through my Elgato on my computer.
Eventually you got the hang of it.
Yeah, I just had to hit the button like a millisecond early each time. But yeah, that was cool. I actually forgot about that. Those are fun games though too. Those Bit.Trip games, that's insane. Like, very
cool games. Check them out if you can. I didn't mention on the stream, but apparently they're also available on Steam. They're a little expensive on Steam. I didn't realize how much.
Was it like
and I heard they're not the best ports. So
wasn't it like $40 for like?
For
Flux,
one of them was 40.
Insane,
the rest of them were like 20.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they're so expensive still, but the best versions are still on Wii and 3DS. So if you can somehow find those versions still.
Yeah, they do have physical releases as well. They were WiiWare releases, but they do have a physical copy out there if you're looking for that. And I think the physical copy runs for about $25 on eBay, from what I saw. But yeah, check them out for sure. They were definitely fun. I personally, if I go back to trying it, I'm gonna have to hook it up to a CRT monitor because the delay was just way too bad for me.
But yeah, what was Animal Crossing? I'm not sure there's much more to say. Still kind of playing the turnip market. I was very happy to make a tidy profit. My turnips prices spiked today, so I was able to sell them at 410 bells each for
check you
a
out.
total of 600,000 bells.
Stonks.
Paid off my basement.
Stonks.
Very nice.
Well done.
So yeah, now my mission right now in that game is to get this one villager, Renee the horse. So I have purposely filled my island with all the personality type of villagers other than her personality, which is the sisterly type. And so that way I'll have a better likelihood of that villager coming at the campsite, so I can hopefully find her and recruit her. I know.
Sounds very cult-like.
Yes. I must summon Renee.
Yeah, no, I think that Animal Crossing, people have been doing a lot of cool things with it. Like that horror movie trailer you sent me was that was really well done. And the game's just like, it's so creepy. Just like the way everyone talks, they do such a good job. And I don't know, I love seeing some of the custom stuff come out of that too. That we talked a little bit about that before, people making like jerseys and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
And I've seen like videos of people like turning their whole islands into like obstacle courses too, for like people to run through and like vault over rivers and fall into pits, and then they are racing to get like a prize at the end.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Lots of really cool creativity being displayed. And then the other game I've been playing a lot of, which will lead to our next topic of discussion, is Super Mario Maker 2. Because they surprised us with a new update. They call this the final major update. I don't know if that means there might be more content to still come. Still, maybe it'll be DLC that's paid or something.
There's still yeah. Go ahead.
An empty space.
Yeah.
For one more theme.
Yeah.
I bet you that's going to be paid DLC down the road.
Yeah, I don't know.
Especially how successful this has been. They won't stop, I'm sure.
It's got to be Super Mario Land.
Super Mario Land, or a new Mario kind of theme that hasn't been seen before, or something.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. I still haven't played since they did the Zelda one.
Oh man.
I fired it up.
The Zelda update was definitely cool, but it didn't have that kind of lasting effect that you would have hoped. But with this new update, I think it will definitely create a big resurge, at least for me, for sure, because the biggest update that I think is what I wanted from the game from day one is a world map maker. So now you can string all your levels together through a kind of world course.
And that was
so cool.
That was such an unexpected drop too. Like, you know, like I said, like we said earlier, it's like 10 o'clock at night, and they dropped this, and it's like, we're bringing worlds, and then like it's like what everyone's been asking for, so everyone's like freaking out about that. I'm excited to check it out,
and it's a Super Mario World map style.
Yeah, it has to be like
yes.
Super Mario World's the best. I'm sorry. There's actually a debate recently I saw online where people were like, "What's better, 3 or World?"
3 is good too.
Three's good, and this is what I said about that. I said 3 I grew up with and I loved it as a kid, but you know, 3 came out what, 89, 90, something like that. 89, 90.
Yeah.
So I was like 4 or 5 years old, and like I played it. Well, I got my NES when I was 5, so I got my NES in 90, and so I got Super Mario 3 like late. The first game I had was Mario 1, and I never had Mario 2. I used to rent it from this little mom and pop video shop near me, and I remember getting 3 one day from like a pawn shop or something when I was a kid. Like, I just remember we went there and it was boom, got it. So, like super cheap. But yeah, I loved it. It was a fun game. I loved, you know, the whistles and warping through the map. And I had the Nintendo Power that was like the walkthrough guide for Mario 3. So it had It had like all the all the card flipping games. It had all the matches for that. It had so basically I could flip the first card and then I could tell which one it was going to be after that, so I could match every single thing. And then the guide just told you where all the items were, all the secrets were. It basically had big stretched out images of the entire each level in the world. So I liked Mario 3 a lot. I played a lot of it, but with that being said, the first time I ever saw Super Mario World on display was at Sam's Club. I was with my grandma. We were walking through Sam's Club, and they had one of the Nintendo Super NES kiosks there right after it came out. And I walked up, and there's a kid playing, and it was just they're in the first level. The big bullet bill flies across the screen, and I was just like, oh my gosh, Mario looks so vivid and animated, and just he had all of his motions when he ran, his hand jumping.
Yeah,
it was just so cool.
Just
his little arms
way...
going out, everything.
Yeah.
I don't know, just everything about that game.
The way they handled the world map in Mario World is just so amazing. Like, you start on Yoshi's Island, and it looks like this big world, and then you finally beat that first castle, go across the bridge, and it just like zooms out. It's like, no, you're on this giant world.
And then how the environment changes as you beat levels.
Yeah,
and then your secrets too. Like, I'll never
That's the
forget.
one thing I wish they had with this update, is if they had like alternate exits or something.
That would be awesome. Being able to do an alternate exit.
Yeah.
For your world map, that'd be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Because then you could have some secret world out in the ocean or something, and then, how do you get there? Well, you got to find the exit. You got to find the right exit. So.
How you beat a level and you just went on a circle? It's like, what? How do I progress?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be something. But that game is so freaking good. I love it. And yeah, that'll always be my favorite. So that's why all the levels I ever make in Mario Maker are always Super Mario. Always Super Mario World.
That's kind of what I'm doing right now for my world tour that I'm creating.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna have to go in and start doing one as well. I don't know why I haven't. I just haven't.
It is very time consuming, and I feel like you hit creativity blocks. Like, you get so far in a level, it's like, I don't know how to finish this, and so
yeah,
I've kind of been like hopping back and forth between levels. Like, all right, that's enough for this level for now. Let me work on this idea over here.
Yeah,
and yeah,
I think I only made like 3 or 4 levels anyway, so it's like I need to make 8.
Yeah, I'm trying to create it very thematically and make it feel like a traditional Mario World game, so
yeah,
we'll see how I do. So far I've done about the first world. I just have to polish a few of the levels, but and then I've made a Hammer Bros stage for each world, kind of like in Mario Brothers 3 where you face the Hammer Bros on that single screen, and you get like the treasure or whatever.
Unless you skip it.
I'm making them optional, so they're kind of like standing off to the side, so you can choose to fight them if you want or not.
Yeah.
But each world I have the Hammer Bro fights get a little more complex. It's like World 2, there's a angry sun, and one of them's wearing a Buzzy Beetle on his head. And then the next world, there's like Cheeps in the water hopping around while you're trying to fight Hammer Bros. So
yeah, sounds fun. I would definitely have to check out your world once it's uploaded.
Yeah.
So.
Well, just to highlight a few of the other updates besides the world map, which is amazing. There's loads of new power-ups. You got the Mario Brothers 2 mushroom, so you can like pick up objects and throw them, kind of a la Mario Brothers 2 style. You got the frog suit, which can now run on water if you're carrying an object, which is so cool. Yeah. You got Balloon Mario, which is
I actually
inflated. Yeah.
I was super happy to see that because there was definitely some ideas I had for levels, and then I realized that wasn't in earlier.
Now you got it. Although now he floats forever until he gets hit.
Oh, so, really? They just
yeah.
Oh, that's they gotta add it. They gotta add a timeout.
Timeout? Yeah, unfortunately not.
I guess you can get around that though. You could just put like
create like
a wall of spikes or something,
or blades or something, so he has to get hurt.
Yeah.
So there's workarounds. And lots of other power-ups, and also lots of new enemies. You got Phanto, the mask from Mario Brothers 2, who would chase you around if you get the cursed key. You got Spike, that little like green guy who barf up spike balls and throw them at you. And of course, you got the Koopalings, all the Koopa.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
kids,
They added all of them. That's
all of them, and they all have different like styles of attacks. It's so cool. So that definitely is the cherry on top for the world maker, because I'm definitely gonna have like a different Koopaling at the end of each world and come up with a cool boss fight. So
yeah, it'd be awesome. I'm looking forward to checking out your world and doing that, beating those levels, because that'll be more fun than me trying to make my own level.
Well, if you're having trouble coming up with like inspiration for levels, I definitely recommend at least playing around with the world map, because you can make a cool map and then you might get ideas like, ooh, I bet that would be a good idea for a level there on the map. And
yeah, I started playing. I did start messing around with it a little bit, just doing the world map. But I never went into a level once I was just kind of seeing what options there were as far as like the different tiles you can put down and how you like put the bridges. Oh, hit the mic. Do the bridges, or how you can make the elevated island and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I was just kind of playing around with that a little bit. But that's really all I did. Once I got the update, I checked that out for a second. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we probably talked a good ear off there with our playlist and Mario Maker 2, so we might go to our first break here.
Yeah, let's take a quick break and we will be right back. All right, welcome back. We took a quick little break, and now we'll get into our next topic of Nintendo's sales figures that were released.
Yeah, because they held off for a little bit, but they have finally given us the numbers, and as you can expect from probably all the shortages of Switches being sold out and people being stuck inside wanting to play Animal Crossing, these sales are kind of off the charts here.
Yeah, and it's not even just Nintendo. Like, everything's hard to find right now. My neighbor was asking me if I knew anywhere she could find a PS4, because she wanted to buy another one for her son, and her son actually had a Switch that he wanted to get rid of because I guess he didn't like it. She's like, I just bought a game and he didn't like it. And I said, what game? And she said, Mario Odyssey. And I was like, what? How do you not like Mario Odyssey? I guess I think she said her son is 10, but I was still like, 10? You're 10 and you don't like Mario?
The real catch of the story was he said he likes to play Fortnite and he's getting rid of his Switch. And
yeah, I guess he plays Fortnite on. She said that he plays Fortnite on his sister's console, so on his sister's PS4, and I guess.
Oh my gosh.
He wanted his own PS4, which whatever. That's fine. But I was just like, you can play Fortnite on your Switch, but
I know.
I don't know.
That just sounds like
kids don't like. They like the things they like, so that's all you can do. So she said she ended up finding a PS4, and I forgot where she got it from, but I was trying to help her out with that Now in Stock site, trying to shoot her that, and I actually told her, I was like, well, Switches are selling for like $100 more than retail right now, so you won't have any problem getting rid of it. So I don't know if she ever did or not, but yeah, that's kind of the way all video games are going right now. I know that like one of our friends is trying to find a VR headset, and he finally got one, but it's not shipping for like another month.
Yeah, and my brother's been on a wait list for a Switch for like 6 weeks now, but I think he finally got notice this week that it's shipping. So
that's cool. Yeah. It's pretty crazy with everything. So, so with that being said, though, the Nintendo Switch, the numbers they released was the console's been out for 3 years and it's sold 55.7 million units, which is just pretty crazy considering
Yeah.
the NES sold 61 million. Almost 62 million.
And lifetime sales, right?
Lifetime sales,
Yeah.
which I don't know when they stopped producing the NES, but I would imagine it was sometime in the mid 90s, 95-ish, because I know that there were some late NES titles that were like 94. I know 94, 95, something like that was like your Little Samson and your Wario Woods. The Wario Woods was the last produced NES game. I forgot what year that was, but it was like mid 90s when it came out. Super Nintendo was already out and rolling. So that's pretty nuts that the Switch has done this in 3 years. I mean, gaming is a totally different animal compared to what it was back then, but the NES has still, been a huge, sales figures throughout the years. So
Yep, and they estimate that the Switch probably is only in its mid-life cycle right now. Nintendo says they probably has at least another 3 years to go on it, so it could easily dwarf these numbers in its lifetime.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of that just has to do with its convenience, its portability. People having that option, and those numbers do include the Switch Lite as well.
Okay.
So, there's multiple options, and eventually I'm sure they'll end up putting out a Pro model, and then I would assume that will be, put into those numbers as well. But yeah, it's pretty insane just for hardware, considering the Wii U sold 13 million.
Yeah.
But the Wii U's biggest problem was its name, not the console. The console was fine. I still stick to that. The public didn't know what the Wii U was. And that was the biggest issue with that. All the people I talked to had no idea what the Wii U was when I told them about it. And I personally didn't even know it was coming out. I saw the Wii U, I was like, what's that new tablet for it? And then I saw it was a console, and I was like, well, next week I guess I gotta buy it. And I went out and bought it. So, but
yeah. And speaking of 13 million, that's crazy that you say that, because Animal Crossing has already sold, New Horizons has sold 13.41 million copies.
Yeah, and that's insane, because it's been
its
like
first
4 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah, 6 weeks, yeah. It's crazy.
It has sold more copies in its first 6 weeks than either of the DS copies sold in their lifetime.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that game, like, for me personally, just because I don't play the game, so... that's a game I've never been interested in, the series, and just for whatever reason, but it's just nuts to me to think that it's sold. It's the sixth best selling game on the Switch at the moment, which is just pretty crazy.
And I think it's exceeded Nintendo's expectations, because I believe, if I heard this correctly, that they thought the game would probably sell maybe around 15 or 16 million in its lifetime.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's almost already reached that in its first 6 weeks, Nintendo's like, oh, wow, yeah, this has done a lot better than we ever dreamed of.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of hype with it coming out.
And again, timing is kind of perfect. So, other kind of figures that jump out to me, I'm still flabbergasted that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a port of how old is this Wii U title now?
Was that 2013? I guess, something like that.
Yeah.
2014 is when it came out.
Yeah,
something
the
like
7 or 8 year old Wii U title has sold 8 million units on the Switch.
Yeah,
and it's not even like a newish game. It's just the same kind of tracks, but it's Mario Kart. And it's on Switch, so.
Oh no, it's sold more than that.
Yeah.
It's sold so many copies of that. It's insane.
I see.
I think it's like 24 million copies or something like that. It's basically
yeah.
It's like it's like a 2-to-1 almost for.
I was looking at the
the yearly numbers, right? Yeah. It's like the global the global titles like
it's
8 million, but still it sold 8 million copies this year.
Most selling Switch game. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts that this year it sold that much when there's so Mario Kart's great. Don't get me wrong, but you can only do so much in Mario Kart unless you're like
Yeah.
really competitive online.
What flabbergasts me is it has those kinds of exceptional sales, and they do not add any additional content to it because they could make so much bank.
Because it's already the deluxe edition. There's nothing else to add to it.
Charge me $20-$30 for like 4 new cups, and I would throw the money at the screen.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. You mean you don't want to just get a Mercedes skin for your car?
Put Captain Falcon actually in the game and let me race him. He already has his tracks there. Let him race.
Show me your moves. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they do anything with it. You have to assume they will, but it just seems weird. Like, it's doing so well. What's the incentive for them to make a Mario Kart 9 at the moment? You know what I mean? Like,
True.
It's just kind of crazy. It's like it's still selling. It's still sold 8 million copies this year. That's pretty insane.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know how you kind of top what that Mario Kart is, because it really is, to me, like the perfect Mario Kart. I don't know what kind of radical new idea you would introduce to the series to kind of make it stand out.
The only thing I could see them doing that would like appease the fans was to have a double dash mode.
Mm-hmm.
To add back in dual kart riders and some of those things. But I personally never really played Double Dash. It was just one of those games I never got when I had my GameCube. My GameCube days were mostly Sunshine, Resident Evil, and Sunshine. Or did I say Sunshine? Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers. Yeah. That was once I got Smash Brothers on GameCube. That was it. That was like the only game I played. Of course, Twilight Princess and
and Wind Waker.
Well, Wind Waker, because Twilight Princess I had pre-ordered for GameCube, but then when the Wii came out, I switched it.
Right.
But then I did end up getting a copy of it for GameCube too, because I'm stupid.
It was mirrored though.
It was mirrored. So.
Yeah, I like Double Dash though. I think one of my favorite aspects of it was the fact that like each character had a special type of item that only that character could get. So if you chose to race with certain racers, you'd have special items during the course. So like the baby Mario and Luigi had like the chain chomp item, and I know the Koopas had like the triple shells, and you had like your giant banana peels, I think, with Donkey Kong and Diddy and stuff. Homemade eggs with Yoshi and Birdo. So it was fun. That was a pretty cool aspect.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they added that feature back in, at least as a mode, where you could do like Double Dash Circuit or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be.
Well, let's do it. Let's do Triple Dash. Let's 3 characters. Let's just go
3
crazy.
cars. They just flip around. One's on top of the other, and there's 4 people on the same car. And then when you hit like a gravity thing, it flips, and then you're the next person.
Or you go off on a ramp, and one person keeps driving the car, and the other person's paragliding, and you have 2 separate racers going, and they attach back together.
Only if you're lined up properly, otherwise you lose instantly. But yeah, that's really the only thing I could think of. But outside of that, like, I guess the other big title was Sword and Shield, which, with all the controversy, we knew it was going to sell like crazy because it's Pokemon, and Pokemon prints money.
Yep.
And that's what it did. So, good for Nintendo and good for the Pokemon company.
Good for you.
Oh, and the breakdown, too, there. The Switch Lite came out in September, and it sold 6.19 million units. Just the Switch Lite, so
definitely found an audience.
Yeah. There's how much cheaper is it? It's like $100 cheaper.
It's $100 cheaper. Yeah. So
$100 cheaper. It doesn't have the TV out, but if you never,
I know my sister bought one because her husband already owns the Switch, so it's like a kind of a second console for them too. Yeah,
that's a good thing. I know that you've been trying to get my wife to play Animal Crossing, and I've been like, well, if I get it, I'm gonna want to play it. But then I was like, but if I end up playing it, then we have to share an island, right?
Correct.
So that would kind of suck because I want to have my own island if I play it. But
now here's a fun fact. Based off my sister and her husband's setup, they have 2 Switches, the Switch and the Switch Lite. But you can play the game on both consoles with 1 copy of the game.
Physical or digital?
They got it digitally.
Okay.
Yeah.
They just link it as a secondary console, or
the only thing that they can't do is they can't travel to each other's island because they can't go online at the same time.
Gotcha.
So, but they're able to have 2 different islands with 1 copy of the game playing on their 2 Switches. So I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I would hope so. If you're spending another $200 on a console, you should be able to at least build your own island. So.
Yeah. But the fact that you only have to buy the game once, but you can enjoy it on both systems is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's good. So, cool. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up the sales.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else.
Anything else you want to mention? No.
Nah.
All right.
So we can move on.
Cool. So let's moving on and on. Beastie Boys. So this week there's been the summer of gaming.
It's begun.
Yes, it has begun.
Jeff Keighley's 4-month event of game announcements to occur this summer.
Yeah. So I remember hearing something about it, and then I kind of forgot about it. And then I saw people posting on Facebook the other day that, check in at noon today. I think it was noon, the first
I think it was noon for the first announcement.
Yeah, so, but then before that, so let's just say, so the first announcement was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remake, which I'm extremely excited for because I love that game. And I actually occasionally pull out my PlayStation, and I just recently, maybe last year, I played 1, 2, 3, and 4 all the way through 100%. And I love the game. The soundtracks are fantastic. Just so many songs and artists that I've just never even heard of before. That game pretty much got me into ska music and punk. It got me into skateboarding when I was, that game came out when I was probably 12 or 13, and I got a skateboard, and that's all I did until college, pretty much, was skateboard. So, huge, love it. And I've been watching a lot of skateboard videos lately, and it makes me want to skate again. And I've actually been trying to skateboard a little bit in my neighborhood. I haven't in a couple weeks because my shoulder's been messed up. But yeah, anyway, I love it. I love the Pro Skater series. But with that being said, that was the announcement. But right before the announcement, there were all these people talking about Tony Hawk texting it out to everybody because he has a text service, and everyone of course was like, this is BS, and whatever. But then as we were watching the countdown for the Summer of Gaming announcement to come on, they started playing Goldfinger, and I'm like, they're playing Superman, and I'm like, all right, Tony Hawk is the announcement. They're literally playing the main song that everyone discovered from this game. And then the next song was the Dead Kennedys, and it was just I immediately was writing Patrick and was like, they're playing more Tony Hawk music. Tony Hawk's totally next. So, and then as soon as the countdown stopped, Dead Kennedys restarted, and they were playing the trailer from the for the Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remake. So with that being said, there's some really cool stuff. There's they're adding all the mechanics of the game pretty much through Tony Hawk 4. So you have your manuals, your reverts, lip tricks, flip tricks, specials, all that stuff is pretty much going to be the same because Tony even mentioned in his interview that they've tried re-releasing this game in the past, and I actually have it on Steam. It's Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD, and it looks good, but the game just doesn't feel right. And Tony mentioned that. He was like, we've done it in the past, but the feel's never quite been there, and that's the key of this re-release, is making sure that it feels like the originals. Because if it doesn't feel like the original, you're not going to enjoy it. and that couldn't be more true because like I said, I recently went back and played that, and it's just so weird playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 after you've played like I said, I recently played 1 through 4, and when I went back to 1 in HD and I didn't have a manual and I didn't have the revert to keep my trick going and stuff like that, it really kind of throws you off and it messes up your scores. And because I start throwing tricks together, getting like 200, 300,000 points at a time, and then I go to Tony Hawk 1 and I'm like barely getting like 10,000 combo because I can't get that manual to keep my trick going. But so they're adding all that, which is awesome. The biggest news though is that the original soundtracks are supposed to be there, so everything should be included, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
You've got to have Superman. You've got to have just the original soundtrack. Because
I was jamming out to the music during the countdown.
Yeah, the countdown for the summer gaming was really cool. Like it was pretty chill. But yeah, once they kicked up Goldfinger, like I said, I love ska. Like I have every Goldfinger album. Yeah, I've got all that stuff. I've seen them live a bunch. It's good stuff, but totally got me into that. But they've got all the maps, all the original maps from Tony Hawk 1 and 2, and they're all in 4K, which they look awesome. Like they showed the big drop, the stair drop level. I forgot what it's called. Anyway, it's at the school, the massive drop that it's pretty iconic, and it looks so good in 4K. But,
for sure, yeah.
So that's really cool. One thing that I'm kind of curious about though is that they said during the stream that if you pre-order, you get exclusive access to the warehouse level, which is the first level in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And I don't know if they meant to say if you pre-order you get early, because they did say early access, but I don't know if they meant you'll get early access to just that level, or if they meant you're only going to get that level if you pre-order. I don't know.
I imagine it meant early, but I don't know.
I'd have to assume because they can't take the warehouse out of the game. Like that'd be ridiculous. And one other really cool thing that I saw was that they're doing a collector's edition. This, by the way, this is PS4, Xbox One, and PC only. So if I get it, it'll probably be PC, unless I get a PS5 and I can get it on that.
But no Switch.
No Switch, which is understandable if they're kind of going for high fidelity and all the graphics and stuff.
They'll make a watered down version later.
However, the people that made it are the people that did like the Spyro and the Crash Bandicoot and stuff like that.
They're gonna release it later because they know people will double dip into getting it on the Switch.
Probably, for sure. They just, but the collector's edition that is being released actually comes with a Tony Hawk skateboard. Like it's just a deck. Cool. It's just a deck. So kind of interested because it's, from what I saw, it's $100. The pre-order wasn't available when I saw it, so I don't know if it will be again. But I've kind of been on the edge of buying a new skateboard anyway. So if I bought the collector's edition, at least I could kind of check that box off of my list, even if it is just a Tony Hawk Birdhouse board, which I've never really been a big fan of. But I'm at the point where I don't really want to buy collector's editions for things I'm not going to use anymore unless it's Zelda. So if I bought it, I would probably skate it. Why not? But I think that's really cool. That's a great way to go at it.
Yeah.
So after that, today they did a second Summer of Gaming announcement, which was at 11 o'clock this morning. And that was for the Unreal Engine 5.
Running on PlayStation 5.
Running on PlayStation 5, and I've never been one to say that, like, I've never been one that's like really into like graphics. Like, I definitely I'll appreciate it and say something's really nice, but I don't think graphics make a good game. But I will say that Unreal 5 on this demo they ran, it looked awesome. The detail of like the cliffs they showed, the physics they showed of like just the character in their demo, her like scarf, the way it moved as she climbed and moved, the way her hands touched the door, the way that the lighting effects bounced off everything in the environment was really, really, really well done. We're essentially at photorealism for games with this. The big thing they were talking about with this is using assets that are used in film and putting them directly into games instead of having to like downsample them and stuff and optimize them for video games. So it's pretty big deal. But with that being said, it looks awesome, but it's not like a massive jump from what you see in PS4 currently. I think it looks really good, but it's like PS4 was very, very close to realism in some games, and this is just that next step closer. So once we get to photorealism, where do we go? Like, what's the point other than, supporting bigger environments and farther?
Although they still had that moment in the trailer where they had to do like the wall squeeze through a tight pass so they could load the next section. I was like, what's the... That's supposed to be disguising loading. You don't need loading times.
I did see people talking about that.
Yeah. But I agree. Like, part of this might be just because we're streaming this on a YouTube and on our 1080p monitor, so we're not going to really truly appreciate how amazing it looks in its 4K glory, whatever.
In fairness, I was watching it on my 4K TV.
Oh, you were? Okay.
I was. So it looked pretty sick. Like,
okay, so I'll take your word for it.
Now, again, it was being streamed through YouTube, and I don't, at the moment, I don't recall if YouTube was displaying in 4K or not, because I didn't check the settings. I just played it and let it run.
Well, you can rewatch it, probably.
I can. But it did look really, really good.
Okay.
But like, it's little details, and that seems to be what's getting better with every generation as we go. When we jump from, like, so, obviously going from 8-bit to 16-bit was, huge. Sprites were bigger, you had more colors to work with. You were able to make these elaborate environments that were just very bright and colorful and everything. Then when you went to 16 to 32, that's when you started to see your polygonal 3D worlds and environments. And then we went to 32 to 64, which is your your Nintendo 64 polygonal again. And finally, I believe the Dreamcast is considered like 128.
I don't know.
But I don't know. I don't remember what the hell it is. But Dreamcast, to me, was like mind-blowing at the time when Dreamcast came out. Playing NFL 2K, I'm like, this... Obviously, things have gotten better. That was 20 years ago. But like, I remember the first time playing NFL 2K, and I'm like, I'm watching a NFL game right now. This is crazy. So that was just like, there was such a jump every generation because of how fast technology's progressed. But I feel like we've caught up to that technology. Yeah. So Dreamcast was huge. So the jump from PS1 to PS2 was pretty substantial. PS1 is very polygonal, everything. Like, just look at Final Fantasy VII. Like, everyone was a triangle. You had triangle arms. The biceps were like blocks and stuff like that. And then when you go to PS2, you start to see the models of what looks more like a human. You've got smoother edges. Everything renders better. Like even like driving games like Gran Turismo, the cars in the first one and the second one on PS1 were very blocky still. But then you get to Gran Turismo 3 or A-Spec, and the cars look like the cars. Everything just starts looking better. So as you progress to PS4, or no, PS3, that jump from 2 to 3. I know, I'm
going through the whole console.
I'm going through the whole console thing here. Just because when you go from 2 to 3, when you go to 2 to 3, that's when I think you hit that jump that it was a big jump from 2 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
Things were smoother. You had longer draw distances. Everything was, much better. You had a higher resolution. PS2 wasn't in HD. PS3 was the first PlayStation to support 1080p. With it came with AV cables, but it had component out, which the PS2 did as well if you bought the cables, but it was kind of like nobody was playing it with that. So the PS3 was like the first high definition console that came out with its $600 price tag. And the jump from 3 to 4 I don't think was as substantial.
No. I can barely, yeah.
Like, yes, there's games that are going to run better because of the CPU differences. What it can process as far as its draw distances, what it can process with its algorithm, with how many things it can put on the screen at once without causing lag, the more memory it has, stuff like that. But it's between 3 and 4, you didn't get that. I personally, again, this is all subjective, but I personally didn't see it as this massive leap in gaming, and I don't see that with 4 to 5, even with Unreal Engine 5 that we just saw. Like it looked awesome. It did look very, very good. I'm not gonna take away from that, but it's not that massive jump that we've seen up until the PS2.
I put it is like it looks amazing. But I am also amazed looking at games like Uncharted 4, like God of War, like Spider-Man. They also blow me away, and they're running on those older systems still.
Yeah.
You put them next to each other, and then I'm going to be like, wow, at both of them. They're both going to amaze me.
Yeah.
I think what this has more potential and kind of promise is hopefully it allows more developers to make more games of that quality that these other publishers have already achieved.
Yeah.
And if these tools can help us get more games of that quality, then bring it in. Let's get a whole bunch of these quality games.
Yeah.
So,
and that's something I've always struggled with, like myself, is I always feel like once games started becoming like high def, I started struggling with them. I don't know if it's just like I have such a hard time, like Gears of War, for instance. Everyone is like, "Oh, Gears of War is so good," but like I can't play it. I can't tell where I'm getting hit from when I play those games. Like if it's too detailed and like somebody blends into the mountain or something at like some environment thing they're staying next to. If I can't see it because just everything's so realistic, it just throws me off. But that's just me sucking at video games. I can't. But it definitely, like I said, it looks good. I just think we're at the time where things start gradually getting better. Even like with PC gaming, I bought a 1080 Ti 2 years ago because I wanted the best graphics card I could get at the time. So I bought it, and it runs everything I could ever thrown at it at 100% high settings, ultra settings, whatever you want to say. Then the 2080 came out, and it has ray tracing, and I'm like, all right. So I look at the demos for it, and it's like, okay, so the water has like the water reflects a little better. Like I don't know. I look at it, and it's like I don't see that jump that makes me say like I have to have a 2080 now. Like it just doesn't. It's the same thing with consoles. Like I don't see that massive jump. I
don't think it's as an appealing as a sell for the consumer, but hoping it helps the developers.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna get a PS5 this gen. For sure. I had an Xbox One, and I only play it for hockey. And since majority of Xbox exclusives are coming to PC now, if there's anything I ever want to play, I'll just play it on my PC. and I'm gonna go to PS5 so I can play a bunch of those PS4 exclusives that I missed out on. Spider-Man, Horizon, God of War,
there's some
Uncharted,
good ones.
all that stuff. Last of Us, never played any of that stuff. So never played it. I had a PS3 that was given to me for free. I fixed and it broke again, so I haven't even played that. So really looking forward to hearing more about that backwards compatibility and a price, because they still haven't given us that when it's supposed to come out in it's supposed to come out in like 6 months, and they haven't given us anything about it yet, which is just crazy to me. So I'm assuming we'll hear something in June with a state of play or something.
Something, not E3.
Yeah, which who knows if we'll get a state of play, because Nintendo has pretty much said they're not doing a June Direct either. So
yeah. Well, that's not official yet, right?
Yeah.
That's still just rumored.
I guess so.
Yeah, although it's been very said by many outlets, so...
Yeah, so... Well, speaking of rumors, so we have that rumor, and we still have the
rumor. The rumor is that it might even be as late as August. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait that long.
So, I mean, the biggest rumor that I want confirmed by Nintendo, and I would assume that... I assume it's true, is what we talked about last time in the Mario remakes, just because so many outlets ran with that story, and I'm sure everything going on right now has probably affected that, and hopefully it was far enough along in its development that it can be pushed out, and we can be good to go on it.
Yeah,
but
if Nintendo's catalog is looking dry this year, that is the perfect answer.
Yeah,
just give us some quality ports and we'll be happy.
Yeah. And I really hope that if they do, it's either a collection, or if they do release them one at a time, I hope the first one they release is Sunshine, just because it hasn't had a re-release before.
Yeah,
I think that'd be cool.
So
we'll see what happens with that rumor, and I don't know. Eventually, maybe we'll hear. Maybe they've already mentioned it. We haven't seen because we've been recording.
Yeah, hopefully we spawn this to life after we hit publish, because it always seems the news comes like the second we're done recording.
Yeah, for sure. So what's up with this Earthbound rumor?
Yeah, speaking of ports that they need to give us. So apparently,
I'm entitled to that port.
Well, apparently on April 30th, the series creators company, I'm going to butcher its name, but Hobo Nichi Shinbun, they're launching what is known as the Hobo Nichi Mother Project, which will include various contents and goods from the Mother series, or Earthbound series as we know it in America. But what's most interesting is that there'll be a Mother book available in all languages. And this is going to be containing scripts from Mother 1, Mother 2, and Mother 3. Mother 3, which has never actually officially been translated. And if it's going to be translated and available in English, could that be hinting at a release coming up? And there's a very good chance it could be.
Yeah, we've been saying this for a very long time.
Yeah.
Hoping that this game comes.
We've been hoping for years and years. And
I'm shocked still, that they haven't released Earthbound Beginnings or Mother 2, or Earthbound as we on Nintendo Switch Online on the apps, because the only time Star Fox 2 was only released on the Super NES Classic, and it's on the Switch now.
Yeah.
So why not put Earthbound Beginnings, which was only released on the Wii U? Why not put that on the Nintendo Switch Online app? It just makes sense.
Why not have Earthbound on the SNES Online?
Yeah, it has to be coming.
I think all these are good indications as well that they might be saving this for a collection for retail.
Because that was one of the big things that they did when they announced SNES games for the new 3DS. It was Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Link to the Past, and Earthbound were the main games that they focused on releasing for that service. And it just doesn't make sense that they haven't pushed it out to this yet. So and it's a Nintendo game. It's not like it's 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 a Nintendo property that they haven't put out there, so it has to come at some point.
I'm feeling more optimistic than I ever have now. So
yeah, that'd be really cool because, like I said, like in the past, I haven't beaten Earthbound. I enjoy it. That's something that I probably should stream. I would love to have it on Switch so I can just play it in my free time and.
I've always heard that Mother 3 is just as good, if not better. So I really want to try that at some time, just through official means, if I can.
It's gonna just destroy your top 10 game list.
Oh my gosh, I know. Chrono Trigger has already upset that card so much. I feel so bad every time I have to shove a Link to the Past down a slot. I'm like, no, you're so good.
Yeah,
how can?
It's so good. It's so good. Link to the Past is. It's.
I think that's where Chrono Trigger just jumped right on top of. So.
Yeah, man, it's amazing. But yeah, hopefully we'll get some news. Eventually. The last news we had, which I don't know if you saw this. Nintendo tweeted out. I think it was last night. Or maybe it was today, they tweeted out Nintendo Switch Online is currently giving a 7-day free trial to everyone, even if you've already done a free trial. And that includes access to the Nintendo Switch Online apps for NES and SNES. So they just tweeted that out today, so it's kind of like, all right, are they trying to get people interested in this again? So they're going to start doing more updates? Because we haven't had an update for those apps in a couple months.
It's been a long time.
And the last games they released,
some new Super Nintendo games or some new wacky game like Tetris 99.
Well, they are doing they're doing an Animal Crossing event for Tetris 99. So if you want, I'm assuming it's a theme again. So if you want,
it's a theme. Yeah, they recently did one too for that Rain Fit adventure.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I haven't played that game in a while. I really should. My Switch has just literally been sitting right here next to my computer, and I haven't played it. So.
But yeah, they've been doing a lot of promotions for older games lately. So I think that's just their way of kind of promoting these older games. They had that Splatoon demo, the ARMS demo. Mm-hmm. They had a Mario Kart tournament recently. So, but no new content per se per any of these games. Just kind of ways to promote old games, I suppose.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see what comes out of it. Hopefully, I'd love to hear something new, because I think the last Super Nintendo game we got was like Super Punch-Out, which awesome game, but I suck at Super Punch-Out. I'm much better at the first one. But yeah,
you know what I would really love to see if they want to do like a off the wall kind of game is do something like they did with NES Remix, or give us SNES Remix.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. NES Remix was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I played a lot of that on the Wii U. A lot of fun. So, well, I guess that pretty much wraps it up for this podcast. Gonna try to keep it short, better than a 2 hour and 30 long minute episode that we haven't done. So,
that's probably for the best.
Yeah, we're just over an hour. We're about an hour and 15 in, so it's not too bad. And yeah, so we will keep updated. Try to at least get something out once a month. I think we're gonna do a stream. We're gonna try to do a video of that Prop Seek game. I think it's really fun. we were actually contemplating playing it while recording this episode, so I think we'll try to do a stream of us playing that game. And I don't know, we can either record our own screens and then you can just superimpose it in, and we can try to get both of our screens going.
We'll figure out a setup.
Yeah, we'll figure out something to do. But I think we need to play that and try to stream it, because it's definitely fun. So
stupid.
Yeah, it's so good. But all right, guys, well, thanks for checking in. If you like what you heard, leave us a comment, leave us a thumbs up, leave us a subscribe. You can find us on iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor, all the other podcast sites that are out there.
check out our other streams of games we mentioned. Chad also recorded on a different channel, him working on his arcade stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I just did if you're into Raspberry Pis, I just did a video on connecting a Raspberry Pi to your arcade monitor with very minimal hardware. So it's a pretty informative video. I had a lot of trouble doing it myself. So once I finally got it to work and had the correct settings, I wanted to make a video to share with the people. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, definitely check it out. And that's on my personal channel, which is YouTube Skater Sublime, which is my handle I've been using since I was in like middle school. So it's still there, and that's where you can find that video. But yeah, we'll call it a night. Have a great evening if it's late. Have a great day if it's early. And we will talk to you in episode 14, which will come after the next big news within the next month.
Hopefully there'll be some fun news coming up soon with these more frequent summer of gaming things.
Yeah, with summer gaming stuff's cool, and you know, E3 was supposed to be the first week of June, so
yeah. I'm sure there'll be something that comes out during that time.
Yeah, so I'm sure we're gonna get some sort of news, and
yeah.
we will definitely record once we feel that we have enough to talk about. So,
But, stay safe out there, everybody, and
take care.
Happy gaming.
See you later, guys.